Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your March 18th, 2022 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right, so let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Aries be affected by the March 18th, 2022 full moon? So we're starting off the reading with the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, and the Seven of Wands. So this is quite interesting. And why this is interesting is because during this full moon, every planet is like piled in Aquarius or in Pisces, energy. They're in that energy sphere. So everything kind of feels a little bit out of balance. Everything is all in one section, in one way of being. They're more kind of esoterically driven, spiritually driven mindsets that we really have to embrace during this time. So we have the Hierophant coming in, which is Taurus energy, and we have the Seven of Wands. So there is a sense of having to fight, and there is the sense of it's within an institution, it's within an established way of being, and we're going to feel like this is always going to be a battle. And what Spirit is really telling us here is like, no, it's not always going to be a battle. It's just that this moon, which this full moon is in Virgo, is so intense. It is so powerful during this time that a lot is going to be happening that kind of takes us out of the place that we were once comfortable being in, the way that we were once comfortable looking at things. So that's going to be very important for us. And we'll get more into what this moon has to offer astrologically in just a moment. So let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, okay. So right there, the Strength card, we have to be mindful of always being strong. Now, I know that sounds like a really good thing. We want to be strong. We want to be stoic. We want to be, to present ourselves in a very certain way. But what Spirit is saying here is that with the alignments, with the energy that's around this moon, there's a vulnerability to this time that we need to understand, that we need to embrace. We have to not always think, okay, I just have to be strong. I just have to be, there is a sense here when looking at this card, when looking at this energy, there is a real sense of, I've been carrying so much for so long. When is it going to stop? And that's a really real question that so many of us have during this time. It's like, when is it going to stop? When is the chaos going to stop? When is the intensity of it all going to stop? And things are going to go back to quote unquote normal, or things are going to become calm again. That's really the energy that we want. We also have an energy of kind of a bullying energy coming in, wanting us to do a certain thing a certain way. So being mindful of that is going to be very important for us. Now, it moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. It's about relationships. So this is the sacral chakra. And what we have here is that a lot of our relationships are coming into focus, are coming into question. And the full moon always has opposite forces opposite elements, opposite energies coming into focus during this time. And so here we're connecting with the relationships that we have, with the relationships with ourselves. There's a real sense of grounding here in what we want and in what's important to us. So that's going to be a really big deal for us, Aries. What's important to me? How do I want to move forward? Where is it that I want to be? The moon is opposite Neptune, and the sun is right next to Neptune during this time, making Neptune even stronger because the sun gives it life. The sun gives it power. As the sun gives Neptune life, Neptune is having us connect with the spiritual side of the world and of ourselves. And if we want to avoid discord and disaster, we really have to connect with the spiritual element of who we are and where we want to be as a world, as people, as individuals. This is going to be very, very important. The moon is also trine Pluto. Now this brings our emotions into the forefront of everything. So our emotions are going to be very strong. Now they won't come through in emotional outbursts. That's not going to be the case during this time. We actually can see that here, right here with the Hierophant card. We are very structured, and we're going to bring forward things in a very structured, very intense way. But we are also going to be very powerful in our understanding of the emotions and the emotional forces around us. So we're very in tuned during this time. And we have to use that intuition here for, it's kind of like we're using it in the establishment. We're using it in the areas that are already forged. We're not going to go out, at least many of us aren't going to go out and forge new ways forward. What we're going to do here is we're going to look at the place that we really need to be, the place that we want to be, and we're going to start to open up those doors. Now, is there going to be a pushback? Yes, there is. Do we have to be mindful about this? Yes, because we can really use our emotional intuition to absolutely destroy people, absolutely, push forward and get exactly what it is that we want, which can sound like a really good thing. But because Neptune is so strong here, because the spiritual world is so strong here, it's not going to be that act of strength and force is not going to turn out the way that we thought it would, or the way that we thought it should. The moon is opposite the sun. That is how the story of the full moon always begins. Now, again, this brings opposition to our emotions and elements into focus. Anything that causes opposition, anything that causes us to look at things differently. The moon shows us what we need to feel secure, how we are sensitive, and how we are, subconsciously interact with our surroundings. The moon brings this all forward. The moon is our childhood. The moon is our experience with our mother, or the main nurturing force within our lives. The sun is our personal identity. It is our independence. It is where and how we should let ourselves shine. So there is a lot going on here during this time. And it's like, okay, where do I stand? Where do I stand within this energy? And we have it being that we stand in a very structured way, but we also stand in a way that we are, standing up for ourselves. We're really focusing on our voice and on the way that we want to move forward. Let's go deeper into this. We have here the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Wands, the Magician, so we're definitely taking that gift. We have the Fool, and we have the Ace of Swords. So again, we're taking that gift because we have the Magician here. The Magician is saying we have a certain spark. There is something to us during this time that shines. We have to let it shine. We have to let ourselves shine. That's going to be very important. There's this energy of the Seven of Wands that can take away that spark of what really sets us apart, of what really brings us forward, of what really makes us who it is that we are, because we're going to be so busy kind of fighting everybody else, or holding our ground, holding what's right for us, that we're not going to really enjoy anything. So here it's being very conscious of this. No, I'm not going to be a pushover. No, I'm not just going to walk away and be quiet, kind of like turn the other cheek sort of thing. It could be very much be, okay, that's very interesting. So Spirit was just saying respect, respect, respect. And I remember a while ago, I was reading about, turn the other cheek, the phrase in the Bible. And it said that if you turn the other cheek, you were forcing somebody, one interpretation is you were forcing people to slap you with their right hand instead of slapping you with their left hand, which you used your left hand to clean yourself, used your right hand to, you know, eat and you use the right hand with equals. So there is this energy here of I am an equal. I get to be treated like an equal. That's very much coming forward during this time. And so here there is a tenacity, there is a brilliance to us that is letting us shine, that is letting us move forward. Now we are definitely taking the gift of the Ace of Swords because we have the Queen of Swords here. There's somebody around us who is quick-witted, who has a fantastic way with words, but there is also another person around us. And these are two very distinct people coming forward. And the other person has a way of hoarding everything that we say and twisting it, you know, to make a trap, to make us feel like fools, or to make us feel like, you know, we can't move forward the way that we want to. It's kind of like they're trying to sabotage us. So just being mindful of this. They're taking our words and they're taking them completely out of context, and they're running with it. So just be mindful. The Ace of Swords comes into play. There's a gift of clarity coming forward from God's source spirit. However we see the divine, the universe, we're taking it. We're not only taking it with the Queen of Swords, we're taking it with the Magician. There's a real sense of we have a power with words. We have a power with the way that we are expressing ourselves. There's a clarity to the way that we're seeing our world, ourselves, what we want, where we're headed. And it brings us to accepting the gift of the Ace of Wands, again from God's source spirit. However you see the divine, the universe, there's some sort of passion that's coming forward. There's a real sense here, and this is what's being linked here to, again, the Seven of Wands. It's saying, don't use this gift to fight. Don't do it, because it's going to be so easy to be like, I'm just hearing little kids taunting each other. It's like, nana, 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 you know, which... yeah, it can be that's how we fought with our siblings when we were younger, or, you know, just hearing nana, 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 which it being repeated like that, spirit saying, okay, it means something for somebody who's listening, but I do see it as a taunting and as very much a, you wouldn't stand up for yourself. You wouldn't embrace this power. You won't move forward the way that you need to. And what spirit's saying here is that, like, you absolutely have to. You absolutely have to take your passion and your power and stand in the brilliance that is you, because we're taking a leap of faith towards more, towards where we want to be, towards what's important to us. This moon is really having us look at things and saying, okay, you know, I want to be more than just discord and disaster and, you know, despair and everything that's going on in the world. I want to move forward in a prosperity and in a success. And I want this to be my legacy. Like, I want this to be what people remember about us as they look at us. You know, Aries, there's this real importance of, there is so much more here. I'm not going to be dragged down. I'm not going to be denied a way to move forward in prosperity and in bounty. And that's very, very powerful here. There's some sort of passion that is guiding us. There's some sort of insight that is moving with us. It brings us then to going even deeper. And it brings us to angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading. It brings us to the Ace of Water and transformation. So this is Scorpio energy. This is the energy of Pluto. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the energy of emotions really coming into focus. And we're going to be drinking deeply of that cup. It's almost a sense of, you know what? When people are seeing one thing, we're going to be seeing another. It's kind of like when people are seeing all garbage and then somebody sees art, or somebody sees, like, no, that could be changed into fuel type of thing. That's what I'm seeing here. It's like you're looking at something that everybody else is going to be throwing away. I just see garbage coming forward, and I don't know why that is. And it's going to be changed. It's going to be changed. What somebody thought was worthless, you're going to see the tremendous worth of. And there's just a sense of a cleansing. There's a sense of a balancing. There's a sense of a understanding really coming forward during this time. The Ace of Cups is, again, that gift, God, source, spirit, however you see the divine, the universe. And it is the gift of the heart. It is the gift of what it is that we truly love, what it is that we truly want. It's also a gift of unburdening ourselves from a lot of the energy that we hold, a lot of the emotions that we've carried for way too long. And we're going to see ourselves transforming. We're going to see ourselves, you know, becoming more than what we expected. And that leads us then to angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. The Sun. The Four of Pentacles, the Magician. Again, I love that the Magician has now come up twice for us. The Nine of Pentacles and the fool coming up again. You know, there's such a sense of, I'm claiming this power, I'm claiming this magic, I'm letting myself stand out, and as I'm doing so, I get to change the narrative. I get to change the way that I've seen me. I get to change the way that others see me. And so here, there is a starting off with this vampiric energy that is holding us back. This sense, now, this could be one of two ways. Either we can definitely feel that we're not, okay, so what Spirit is saying, for some of us, we're not guarding ourselves, our chakra energy. We're not guarding our own energy properly. So there's a feeling of an energy drain. We're always tired. We're always overwhelmed. There's a sense of, even when we rest, we don't feel rested. There's just this energy here of like it all being too much. So that's one way. The other way is that we're all holding on to everything. You know, it's that, not that we're letting all the energy come in at us and not guarding it. It's that we're guarding ourselves so much that no energy gets to flow. It's kind of like, this is so weird. It's kind of like being constipated. And I know that nobody wants to hear about that, but Spirit's like, you have to say it. You have to say it. So we're just going to say it. And that's going to be the energy that's here. Now, it can be somebody around us. It can be us. It's souring the mood because, of course, it would not make you feel good at all. But there's a real sense with the Four of Pentacles. It's like holding on to something. So either we're letting it go all the time or we're holding on to it. And so what we're going to need to know here is that both ways are not good. We have to find that balance. We have to find that balance of letting the energy into our lives, and we have to find that balance of knowing, you know what, not that energy, of being able to guard ourselves, of being able to ground ourselves fully and connectively, because we're just going to feel drained. And it's that vampiric energy. It's that energy of like everybody's taking from us. Everybody's taking, you know, yeah, everybody's kind of like abusing us in a way that we're like, what the heck is going on here? And it brings us to the sun. It brings us to this place where the light starts to shine within us and we start to say, can I let this brilliance come forward? We're going to have a hard time of it because of the Four of Pentacles energy, because of that holding on to things or releasing, and we're not going to have time to fully embrace the energy of ourselves. So that's something that we have to be mindful of during this time. The sun is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. There's brilliance, there's beauty, there's tenacity here. So we have to let that come forward in our lives, and we have to let the moon shine within us, right? The full moon, embracing the energy of the sun, our personal identity, our independence, where and how we should be expressing ourselves, how we should be shining within our own lives. And that moves us to the Magician. That moves us to standing before the altar of our existence as we're doing, you know, here, really embracing the gifts around us. We have 3 gifts from divinity. We have the Ace of Cups, we have the Ace of Wands, and we have the Ace of Swords. We have love, we have passion, we have, you know, clarity really coming in. And now we're standing before that altar saying, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is where I'm moving forward. There's no one who will stop me. But there's also that spark to us, that magic to us. The joy is coming back, the beauty is coming back, and it brings us to the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is saying, stand in this moment. Because so for so many of us, you know, we're always planning on to the next thing, or there's an energy of, you know, always being distracted, never being able to celebrate where we are right now, because something is always pulling us one way or the other. And Spirit is saying here, celebrate where we are right now. Take our wins, celebrate our wins, let ourselves shine forward. And then it'll move us to the Fool. We will see ourselves moving in a way that we just hadn't anticipated at all. We didn't think that this could happen. We didn't think that we could get here. And now we're going to see ourselves taking this leap, being propelled forward. And it's just going to be amazing. Like, somebody thought, okay, what you're doing is foolish, or oh my gosh, you're making a fool out of yourself. Somebody has told us this. And now we're going to see, no, I'm not. Like, I stood up for myself. I embraced who I am. I'm looking at the future, being positive and being powerful and being completely and utterly me. And as we're doing this, like, yes, we'll fall, we'll scrape our knees, of course. But there's also such tenacity to us that we stand apart. And it brings us now to our Luna message. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Ooh. We'll just keep that turned. I love that. Oh, there's such an energy. We can see that here within the cards. Just such an energy of release, moving us forward, leading us to so much more. So let's see. Yeah, 3. So we start off with a surrender to the divine, right? The full moon. And that's what we're being shown. We're being shown through the gifts that are coming our way, through the passion that is leading us forward. And this brings us to a place of release. So as we're embracing kind of like the structure of it all, the institution of it all, the way that things are done, and we're looking at what we're fighting, we're looking at what has overwhelmed us, we're going to be releasing a lot of that fighting, and we're going to be surrendering to almost a higher power during this time, the surrender to the divine, the surrender to what we deeply want, where we deeply want to be, what's deeply important to us, and also the traditions of that make us who we are. It moves us then to communication is key, and it is going to be key. This is the new moon in Gemini. Communication is going to be key because a lot isn't clear. It's very interesting because we have, Mercury in Pisces, we have the Sun in Pisces, we have Neptune in Pisces, we have Jupiter in Pisces. Communication is going to be very important, and yet not everybody's going to be saying what they mean, and not everybody's going to be hearing what is actually being said. So there is that energy to it during this time, but there's also this energy of tremendous triumph through our words. So we need to be very mindful of being present in our communications, because it will be so easy during this time just not to be. It moves us then to fear. Communication is key, and it's also going to be key to toppling a lot of the fear that we have, to being able to break free, to see ourselves move forward, to be able to look at the bigger picture. There's also a fear around the way that we are transforming, around the way that we are stepping into our power, stepping into ourselves. There's a sense of, I can't do it, coming forward, and Spirit saying that's not true at all. It moves us then to the energy is gaining momentum, and it brings us pleasure. It does. But the energy is gaining momentum. If we don't have the proper balance, it's going to gain momentum, and it's either going to drain us completely dry or it's going to pass us by. And so what we're seeing here is that if we take hold of that energy, if we take hold of ourselves, there's tremendous pleasure to come forward. But we have to be very mindful of the vampiric energy, of the overwhelming energy that's trying to hold us back. It moves us here to our subconscious Lunar energy, and that is darkness. Now, darkness comes forward, right? So we're not going to be able to see as clearly. And then we have confidence is key to success. We have the new moon in Leo. Now, the new moon is darkness. So there's a sense of, okay, I'm not able to see what it is that I want. Leo, though, is ruled by the sun. So there's this energy of brightness around us, and confidence is key to success. So even though we are unsure, even though we question, our confidence, our assurity within ourselves, Aries, which we do have, as a fire sign energy, we do have this confidence that moves us forward. It's time to embrace it. But it's also time to embrace the quiet, the subtleness that the night brings, that the darkness brings, that the moon brings forward within us. It moves us then to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and that's Cernunnos. This is Capricorn energy. This is the devil energy. So this is chaos. This is things being chaotic. We're really going to want things to be ordered. And yet, the more we try to order it, the more we try to control it, the more chaotic it will become. So being mindful of that during this time is going to be very important for us. It moves us then to our subconscious chakra energy, which is love. This is the heart chakra. This is embracing love. This is moving forward with our hearts and with our emotions. It then brings us to our subconscious tarot message, which is and begins with the Page of Swords. We become a student of our words, of what we want. There is a child energy here. There is somebody who is either a child or a very young soul that asks questions, that pushes the envelope. And that could be what we're embracing during this time, because we can have a tendency during this time to get very rigid within things. And Spirit's saying here, no, ask questions, push the boundaries, see what becomes. And we need to embrace, the curiosity of childhood. We need to embrace the curiosity of children. We're also going to be asked a question, and it's going to be a very innocent question. And I can see it being asked by a child. I actually hear it being asked by a child, and I don't know exactly what it is that they're saying, but there's a question that comes forward, and it just it makes us stop. And it's like, oh, it's like, oh. So just be mindful of that. When that moment comes, when we're just stopped by this question that comes forward, and the only thing I'm hearing is us going, oh, it's like, oh, I never thought of it like that, or, oh, I forgot that. And this person remembers, because this person has things that are important to them, that are truly important to them. They're not worried about everything else and everyone else. So that's going to be very interesting. It moves us then to the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is being able to celebrate. It's being able to celebrate ourselves. It's being able to celebrate what we want, where we're headed within our lives. There is this real sense of, I get to embrace this celebration and this beauty, which brings us to the messenger of earth sign energy, right? This sense of a grounding, this sense of an understanding, this sense of, okay, it's important. It's important to move slowly and steadily and patiently forward to more than what I realized, to more than what I was. And as this energy comes forward, this slow, steady patience, and there is somebody around us who is just slow and steady and patient, who builds things methodically, who looks at the bigger picture. And it brings us then to the Ten of Pentacles: prosperity, success, bounty, abundance, wealth. It brings us to a completion of a cycle when it comes to our finances, but it also brings us to a connection with our ancestral blessings, with a sense of, this is the wealth we've been working for. This is what we've been working towards. And all of a sudden, so much more becomes clear than what was clear in the past, than what we originally thought. So there's a sense of things coming full circle, and we'll be surprised. Like, I don't know if somebody's like on ancestry.com or some sort of ancestry site, or if you come across a letter that like your grandparents wrote, or whatever it is, and it's like, oh my gosh, we've come full circle. Oh my gosh, we've achieved what they set out to do. There's just going to be an energy of that here from this moon that leads us forward, that really starts to illuminate things, and it illuminates a new path for us, or at least a more confident path forward for us. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and please stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as we embrace the power and the intensity of this moon and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries, and may you have a blessed moon.